What do you make of what Ershad said?
If you personally ask me, I disagree with most of the. It's a liberal agenda. It's a media, the way that they have been twisting. And since, to be honest with you, I have seen the war against Donald Trump from different angles. People have been, when he meant the banning of Muslims, there was an issue of immigration going on. The people were coming here from the Syria, and they, instead of staying there and fighting for their own freedom and rights, or going to Turkey or Kuwait or Saudi Arabia, they wanted to come here, and we don't have any system to vet them. People are coming on the
but that's not true. We do have a system to vet them. I mean, that's just not a true fact.
Oh.
There's a very, very laborious system that requires multiple agencies in the government in order to have refugees file asylum requests. I don't know what that has to do with banning all Muslims.
Okay. The question is this: why the Syrians wanted to come here to begin with? Why they don't go to the Turkey and some other Muslim countries and they practice their religion freely there? Why they want to come here so far away? That's another question. And then another thing is this: right now we have a waiver program from the Europe. They are coming here and they cannot control them. So right now, and plus, this is written on the wall, the radical Islam is a threat to Western civilization. Most of the countries look at them, what is the situation? We don't want to see this country, another Middle East or another France or Belgium. We have to take precaution. And the person who has brought it on the table, we are calling him bigot and we are asking him, I think we need to appreciate he has brought that subject on the table to discuss and take precautions. That's America first, American.
But aren't you a Muslim immigrant to this country? How can you say that you can come in and no one else can?
No, the thing is this: I came here legally, and he's not against the
legal
immigration.
We're not talking about refugees. I'm sorry, I have to interject. He's talking about Muslim immigrants who could come here legally.
He said a temporary ban on all Muslims.
No, yes, until we find out why they are coming here. Objective, and this is a temporary situation.
But my question is, what if there had been a ban? What if there had been a ban on you? You may not have been able to come to this country. You may not have been able to take advantage of the American educational system or the American way of life. What if there had been a ban when you were trying to come to the country?
I came here legally, and second thing is this: if going through the screening and going through the vetting system can make a satisfaction, I don't have any problem with it. And why they wanted to just use the other channels? So we don't want to see this country going on a chaos like Belgium and France and, and situation and radicalizing. And current administration hardly use the name radicalize or identify this issue. It's an ongoing issue. We have to solve it. Otherwise, we will be feeling guilty.
But hang on,
listen, safety net.
It's not just Donald Trump, because you say that it's Donald Trump. 43% of Americans support a temporary Muslim ban. That's a substantial number. Democrats are against it. Republicans are for it. That's no big surprise. But with independents, it's almost even. 49% oppose the ban. 45% support it. So he's not alone in his opinion about Muslims in the country.
And Trump's success really reveals to Muslims and to all Americans, but particularly young Muslims, who were born here, who were raised here, a very disturbing truth that millions of other Americans actually agree with him. He's just managed to tap into this, this racism and this fear and this suspicion of all things that are Muslim, which has been perpetuated, as I've told you many times, on this program, for decades. And what's really troubling, Don, is it's not just this notion of the ban. He said to Anderson Cooper on this very network, I think, let me get it just verbatim for you, because I wrote it down, because, we're all focused on this one thing he said. He said, it's quite simple, I think Islam hates us. We have a presidential candidate who's actually now the Republican nominee for all extents. He is saying, I think Islam hates us, to Anderson Cooper. Then he goes on to talk about, that's not only equating 1.6 billion people with terrorism, that's framing Islam as directly incompatible with the West. And I would just ask your guest and caution you, you're free to support who you want, obviously. Who is a Muslim? I would just ask you, at what cost? Maybe you like him because of his economic policies. Maybe you like him because of immigration. Maybe you like him because he wants to lower taxes for private business owners. But at what cost? Not just the human cost, but to the very social fabric of America, which has afforded you, as a Muslim immigrant, the life you have.
My answer to that, I'm an American. I have kids, those are American. And safety, I have told you, the safety of America is my #1 priority at the same time. And coming up to the racial issues and things, and like there is a saying, every Muslim is not terrorist, but every terrorist is Muslim.
Why do you think Islam hates us? As your candidate claims.
Let me tell you. The thing is this, what is going on? Most of the Islamic countries, they are ruled by the kings. They have no educational system. They have no opportunities. Even then, Saudi Arabia has a huge unemployed population. The youth is desperate. Then they are misled by the imams and madrasas. And everybody knows, say the thing is this education and opportunity.
So you think Muslims hate us?
To Ahmed's question, do you think Islam hates America?
Islam, as a religion, to be honest with you, how it is possible when the name of religion Islam meaning peace and can hate? This is
but
the
that's
people
what your candidate said.
People,
that's what the candidate you support said on CNN to Anderson Cooper. And he said it in many other forums.
He has said...
And it's this that is irresponsible.
Let
Go ahead.
Okay. No. The thing is this, he has said several times that he has a Muslim friends and he is willing to understand.
Yeah, you know what? I have Mexican friends, I have Japanese friends, but I would never suggest that any of those people hate us or shouldn't be allowed into this country, especially without a plan. It doesn't matter whether he actually done, as I've said to you, implements this policy.
Yeah.
He's done enough damage.
But Mexicans, they are...
I think is irreparable, because we have now a conversation about whether or not we should ban all Muslims, as if that would even be a constructive policy position. You've heard all kinds of leaders, not just from the GOP, you've had Homeland Security leaders, you've had all sorts of foreign policy leaders, including other world leaders, say that that's just ludicrous.
I'll let you. I've got to wrap it up. Good, Sajid. I'll give you the last word.
We're just talking about the political correctness. The people don't like it, and the leaders don't like it. But the thing is this: we have to take dramatic steps for the safety of America, and we have to. And that's the beauty of Donald Trump. He's not just for the political correctness. He wanted to resolve the issues. Okay. Most of the things he brought up during the debates, everybody later on followed up.
Sajid.
Even then Hillary Clinton is trying to follow up. I'm sorry.
Thank you. And thank you, Ahmed. Interesting conversation to be continued. I really appreciate it.